there, welcome back to my channel. I'm Rachel, the owner and creator here at the Eclectic Cottage in Spokane, Washington. Happy Thursday, everyone. Before I get into today's projects, I just wanted to say a really quick thank you very much to all of my subscribers. I finally hit 15,000 subscribers a couple days ago, and I just can't tell you how grateful I am for every single one of you, so thank you. For today's video, I have some thrift flips. They're kind of Valentine's Day themed. I was going to try and throw in a Valentine's Day DIY, but I went down the rabbit hole on Pinterest, and you guys, I got lost, and there are just so many ideas out there, and I have some things that I've kind of gotten started. So hopefully for my next video on Sunday, I will have a couple Valentine's DIYs for you. But for today, it's more projects that are kind of themed in that direction, if you will. I hope you like them. I am happy with how they all came out. And without further ado, let's get to today's projects. My first project is this pillar holder that's been in my stash for I don't even know how long. I completely forgot I had it, honestly. And I was looking for something to round out my vignette for today. So this is what I chose. I'm starting by just giving it a really quick coat of some brown spray paint. This is Rustoleum 2X in their Espresso color. And then I am going to go in with some milk paint. I decided I wanted to try for kind of a chippy crackle finish on this. So I didn't let my spray paint dry completely. It's still just a little bit tacky. And I am going in with Sweet Pickins milk paint in the color for January called Flour Sack, which is a really nice, very country farmhouse white color. I did not add any extra bond to my paint because, again, I am looking for some chippy and some crackle, and I am going to be drying my paint in between each coat with my hairdryer just to add a little bit of heat and to hopefully help accelerate the crackling process. Now with milk paint, especially with no extra bond in it, you really don't have a lot of control over where it's going to chip and where it's going to crackle. So I'm just going for it here. I ended up putting 4 coats of the flour sack on, drying in between each coat. And the one thing I will say is that I've found that the drier my spray paint is, the less chippiness I tend to get. So since I did not let my spray paint dry completely, I had a feeling I was going to get some chippiness. I ended up getting quite a bit, honestly, more than I really kind of wanted. But again, this is out of my hands at this point. So I am just going with it. And I'm using some 220 grit sandpaper to knock off all of the chips and then do just a little bit of distressing in some of the other areas where I didn't get quite as much chippiness. I did get beautiful crackle in all of the other places, and I will show you close-ups of that at the end. I realized as I was sanding that the bottom of this poor pillar holder is pretty nasty, so I peeled off as much of the tags as I could and then sanded it down quite a bit just to get it smooth so that I could paint it later on. Once I was done with that, I took a damp shop towel and wiped down all of my areas, especially where there was still just a little bit of the cloudiness left from the milk paint. Now keep in mind, anytime you go over your milk paint with anything that's wet, it can reactivate your paint, which means you could end up with more chippy or crackle. The last step in my pillar holder project was to go ahead and seal my paint, and I am starting with a coat of DIY's clear wax, and I am just brushing that over the entire pillar holder with my soft bristle brush. I did end up knocking a few more little chippy areas off of the candle holder as well, and once I have a good coat of that clear wax on, I am just wiping it back with a dry shop shop towel. I did decide to go over this with some DIY dark wax as well, not only to help really accentuate the crackle areas and to just kind of blend everything together and give it more of a cohesive finish. Once I had a nice even layer of dark wax all over the pillar holder, I went ahead and wiped that back very gently with a dry shop towel. And the last step in this project was to flip it over and just put a couple coats of the Cottage color anvil on the bottom to clean it up. At that point, my little pillar holder project is done, and even though it's a little chippier than I had originally wanted, I really do like the way that it came out, and it will be a perfect addition to my Valentine's Day vignette. For my second project, I pulled out this little milk pitcher that I picked up recently at the Goodwill for a couple dollars, and I am starting off by giving it a good base coat with Rustoleum 2X in matte black. I want to do some distressing, and I wanted black as my base coat, so that is where I'm starting. Once my black spray paint is completely dry, I am going in with a couple coats of DIY's Petticoat pink. I didn't want to paint the entire inside of the can, but it had this cute little rim around it, so I just carefully painted the inside down to that rim, and then I went about painting the outside. For this first coat, I am brushing it on, but you know, I'm not a huge fan of brush stroke marks, so once that first coat was completely dry, I did stipple or pounce my second coat of the paint on. And I know I don't do a lot of pink items, but since I'm creating a small vignette for Valentine's Day, I thought pink would probably be a good color choice for that. Now, one of the great things about DIY paint is that since it is clay based, it can be reactivated with water. So it is really easily wet distressed. So that is what I'm doing here. I just took a little shop towel and got it damp. And then I am going over all of the embossed areas and anywhere else I want some of that black paint to shine through my Petticoat pink. I really wanted this to be a highly distressed piece. I want it to be kind of shabby chic to go into my Valentine's display. So I'm really distressing the heck out of it. Once I was finished with my distressing, it was time to seal my paint. Now, like I mentioned before, DIY paint can be reactivated with water, so it really does need to be sealed. And my favorite go-to sealer tends to be their waxes, and this little pitcher is going to be no exception. I am going in with a good even coat of DIY clear wax, and I'm just brushing that on all over with my soft bristle brush. And once I have a good coat everywhere, I'm just going to go in with my dry shop towel and gently wipe back any excess wax. I think this little picture will look so cute in my Valentine's vignette with some flowers in it, and I really hope you guys like it too. My third and final project is one that I started a while ago and got so frustrated with it that I set it aside. I had painted it with this green color. It's actually going to be the same green color when I'm done with it, but I stuck my fingers in the paint and then I accidentally stuck some shop towel and it got stuck in the paint and dried that way, and it was just a mess, you guys. And so I just set it aside and completely forgot about it. So I started actually by sanding the paper towel back out of the paint and then going in with this white spray paint as a base coat. Now there were some rough areas, so I did have to sand a couple of the sides down just a little bit, and then I'm going back in with DIY's Cottage color called Garden Sage. This is actually the color that I had started painting it way back when I initially started on this project. Now for this little box, I am only painting 3 sides, so I'm just going over those 3 sides with 3 coats of this Garden Sage paint. Once I was finished with the green, I went ahead and grabbed out DIY's Cottage color in Plaster, and I am going to paint the interior of the box with a couple coats of that, as well as that front panel. And I also did paint the bottom of the box with this color as well. The thing I love about the Cottage colors is, 1, they have a built-in sealer, and 2, they are a very durable paint. So once this is done and the paint cures, it will be nice and hard, so when you place stuff in this box, you won't have to worry about it marring the paint. I'm going to be decoupaging the front panel of this little box, and for my medium, I'm using DIY's clear liquid patina. I'm putting a pretty liberal coat on the front panel, making sure that I brush it out as evenly as possible before I place down my decoupage paper. For my decoupage paper, I'm using one of the fiber papers by Redesign with Prima. I had a little chunk of this one left over. It's called Jardin Fleuri. I believe that's how you pronounce it. So I lined up the top with that little rim and then just smoothed it down over my medium using my hands. And once I had it all smoothed out, I went over it with another pretty liberal coat of the liquid patina. Once I was finished with the decoupaging process, I set my little project aside to dry completely before going in with some 150 grit sandpaper and very gently and carefully sanding away the bits of excess paper. I'm just kind of using a downward sweeping motion as much as possible here to try and avoid accidentally tearing my paper. Now, one thing I always like to do once I'm finished decoupaging something is go back along any seams and just kind of lift them with my thumb to see if I have any loose bits. And if I do, I just use a little bit more of that liquid patina to glue those back down into place. When I was looking through my stash of leftover pieces to try and find a piece of decoupage paper for this little container, I ran across this piece of the Burgandy Love Transfer set that I had left, and I thought that the colors were pretty close to what was in the decoupage paper, so I went ahead and used it on the back side of my container. I just peeled off the backer and laid it down, and then just used that transfer stick to rub the transfer into my paint, and it went on like a dream over this cottage color. Once I was finished with the transfer, I grabbed out my DIY clear wax and I went over the entire little container with a coat of clear wax. Couple reasons for this. Now, even though the cottage color has a built-in sealer, I needed to put something over my transfer to protect it. And I also really love the way that the decoupage fiber papers feel with a coat of wax over. I feel like it really helps lay those fibers down and just makes them nice and soft. So I put on that clear wax, wiped back the excess with a shop towel, and then to add just a touch of patina to my paint, I added a very, very light layer of dark wax over the top. I also went around the edges of my decoupage paper to add a little bit of kind of patina just around the very edges to really highlight the center and just make it look a little bit more aged. I decided as a final step on my little container to add a touch of glam. And so to do that, I'm going in with some Decor wax by Redesign with Prima. This color is called Eternal. It's a beautiful kind of antique gold. And I'm just going along the seams on all of the sides and along the top rim. And then I painted all of the little feet with a coat of it as well. I feel like this was the perfect finishing touch for this little container, and I absolutely love the way that it came out. I really hope you guys like it as much as I do. From here for today, you guys. I hope you liked my projects and I hope you enjoyed today's video. I have to say that it was kind of nice after all of the havoc with that little dresser to just sit and get some simple projects done and kind of go back to the basics a little bit. What did you guys think of the chippy pillar holder? Are you a fan of chippy? Do you not like chippy? I'm just kind of curious where you stand. For me, I do like chippy, obviously, but I don't know that I was prepared for quite as much chippiness as I got there. But you know, it's one of those things, like I said in the video, you kind of relinquish control a little bit with the milk paint sometimes, and you just kind of have to roll with it. So that's what I did. Anyway, if you enjoyed today's video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. I so appreciate that. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and then just hit the little notification bell so you don't miss anything. And then don't forget to comment below and let me know what you thought of my projects for today. Let's see, just a quick reminder too, the paint and products you see me use can be purchased through me at my website, and that's www.theeclecticcottagespokane.com. It's listed below in the description box as well. And I carry DIY paint and products as well as Sweet Pickins milk paint and products. And like I said, the flour sack is still on sale through the end of January at 35% off. I also carry Recycled Treasures decoupage papers and of course some redesign with Prima, and they have started on their sneak peeks. I will try and get some of those pictures posted on here for you guys to see as well. There are some really, really cute things coming on January 29th. And then let's see, for my next video, which is going to be on Sunday, I am hoping to keep going on some projects. I actually have one started and one in my mind that I want to get started on. So hopefully I'll have those ready for you on Sunday. Until then, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week and beginning of the weekend. And again, thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it. I will see you back here on Sunday. Bye.